I'm Kelly, and welcome to The Ones to Know. Today, I'm here with Jay Kuper. Thank you for being with me, Jay.
Love being here.
I wanted to do this for so long.
Me too. This is so good. These are very fun.
Yes. So you are the broker with the mostest. I mean, everybody, I cannot go to an event where they're like, oh, you're so lucky. You have the best broker. Jay Kuper is the best. And you are. I mean, I will say that your leadership is just so good. And I think that one thing that people don't know about you is that you care so much for each agent. Like they can call you anytime and you will call them back if you're on another call.
Yeah.
But you do. You take the time. People don't realize that. And I all the time hear, is Jay going to be leaving the business? Is Jay retiring out? And like, no, you are so involved. I don't think people know how involved you are.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
Sometimes I don't think I do it very well, candidly. I get self-conscious about it, but I do love it. I'll take the compliment because I take it very seriously. It's not an act. I think a lot of it had to do with growing up in and around the business. And I think probably because I've saw my dad, my parents, grandmother, whichever, have to pour so much of themselves into the business that I like being a lifeline or helpful or engaged with all of our agents. So it's easier for me to want to just sort of also sacrifice my time, even though it's not as my job to be involved and available, but I want to help. Like I like solving the problem. I feel like a lot of times I can, and I've got enough repetition with it. And I started my career with handling some of our hardest kind of challenges and transactional problems. So I've got confidence with that. So I don't know, it makes it easier to do. I mean, but there's challenging days like any other job, any other thing. But I think it's just the people that makes it different.
Always up for it. Always.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can't get you on the phone, it's very rare.
Right.
I mean, I know you're always on with agents. You're on with other brokerages within our brand.
Right.
You're on with the bank who co-owns with us.
Yep.
You're on with staff. I mean, I just literally don't know how you do it.
Well, I genuinely mean it when I say sometimes I don't do it that well. But here's the thing I'll say. Like every day is a different day for what I do.
Yeah.
And that's probably good for my self-diagnosed ADD. Like I'm just running all around. And I will say because I pile it all on, I get a lot of things done. And I do think I communicate well. And I try to get with every single person that's reached out to me for the day. But there are some times that I fail at it. There's sometimes that something will slip through the cracks that I didn't intend to. That always has negative repercussions that I don't want. Like, well, you left me off and you took care of everything else. So I get super self-conscious about that. But I think it's just because I like what I get to do. That's really what it is. And it's easy to pour into things that you value, and I value everybody that's working with us. I know what that commitment level is like.
Yeah, I know you do. When you say that, and you really do.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not easy.
You know the backstory. You really care about all of the agents, and yes, you have kind of morphed along with all of the years. Many of the agents that were from the old Amelia Bullock office, they tell me like, I remember seeing Jay when he was younger, and he would be in the office, or But side note, I know that it was kind of a tough year because the two people that really founded Kuper Realty way back in the day, passed on. And so that legacy, as you knew, would always continue. But now it's even more on your shoulders.
For sure.
And how has that impacted the year?
It's impacted the year a lot. I'll say this. I don't know if it's a strength or a weakness. I'm always very future focused, almost to a fault. So losing grandmother and uncle in a year or 12-month period was a lot, but also they both were so encouraging to me. People will keep voicemails or whichever. The only voicemail I ever have saved is 2 for my grandmother.
Really?
Yes. I'm super sappy about them, but they were great. But she's always remarkably encouraging. So I've kept those.
Aww.
But I don't really, I'm not overly nostalgic. I don't always look back. I want to honor legacy.
Yeah.
But I'm hey, it's heads down and moving forward every single day.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's a strength and a weakness. I think you should settle in to the moment that you're in.
Yeah. Not
spend a lot of time on the past, not spend even a lot of time on the future. Sometimes I'm just way too future focused, but I think I have to do that in the role that I'm in. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I think I've always felt like it was a challenge. I felt daily challenged by both of them for what they built.
Yeah.
Because people will give me credit that I don't always really deserve. Not trying to be self-deprecating, but oh, it's a great company. I think it is a great company. Yeah. It's an amazing company, but I didn't start it. It was started by two amazing people, really, and I just have the privilege of continuing it.
Yeah.
Which there's challenge there and different pressure.
Yeah.
But to start something like this from scratch is very difficult. And I'll say it a different way. I don't know if I could start it today. I think to try to start a residential real estate brokerage in 2026, would not recommend it to a single human being. It's a challenging industry, business, that sort of thing. But again, like I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, and so there's real obligation and commitment there. But I really welcome that. Like it's get up in the morning, look in the mirror, like let's get this done, because somebody before me or multiple people before me, not just my grandmother or my uncle, but hundreds of agents too, and staff members too, some of which still work for the company. We've had people here who have been here since the early 80s are working here still, both as agents and staff. So that's an obligation for me too, and a commitment level too. I feel like I'm very committed to that every day.
I love that picture that we put in the most recent listing presentation that has like the original crew.
Yes.
Oh, that's so fun to see.
It's really good. Yeah.
Okay, so Kuper Realty was very, very successful in San Antonio. And then what made you say, I think this would be a great partnership if I align with Sotheby. So I'm going to kind of morph our brokerage into that more corporate franchise structure.
So I'll give full credit to my uncle on that. He really, my uncle and my father really focused on Sotheby's as a brand and as a company.
Oh, really?
So this is all the way in the weeds, but I'll say it real quick. We really started becoming affiliated with the auction house, Sotheby's auction house.
Oh, really?
In the 80s.
Okay.
So back then it used to be purely like an affiliation. You could say we're affiliated with this auction house, and we will pay them a fee if they do some marketing and advertising for us. And then it's now been almost 20 years is when it became more of a franchise system, corporate office in New York and in New Jersey. And we were an early on, franchisee, I guess, of the Sotheby's brand. And that was in early 2000s. And so we've been doing that for a long time, but that was really father, uncle who said, being affiliated with a brand like that makes a difference. And the overarching thing that I will say, and I preach this to our agents all the time, is brand really is everything.
Yeah.
I'll steal an analogy from my dad. He'll appreciate maybe that I do. He would always say brand affects everything from toothpaste to tennis shoes. Have you heard him say this?
No.
He would say it all the time, but I give that example all the time. You can go to the grocery store. We go to H-E-B. There's toothpaste. There's Colgate and Crest, and then there's H-E-B brand.
Yeah.
And they are almost identical, but you pay more for Colgate or Crest because you trust a brand.
Trust the brand.
In our industry, I think it's super interesting because there's a couple of brokerage models that really get agents to focus on building their own brand.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe in it to some degree, but being affiliated with a true brand that's been around for hundreds of years has major impact on the consumer. And I think it's a little bit foolish to think an agent can just build a brand that's ubiquitous with quality and all these things overnight. That really takes decades to do.
Yeah.
And I think for most agents, they shouldn't spend as much time building their brand in that way.
Agree.
Even though I believe each agent is a brand, but aligning with a brand like Sotheby's International Realty is a big deal. And so I can't get enough of it. I think it's the value in it is immense, and we continue to benefit from it.
Yeah.
Even to this day, even though there's lots of great real estate brands, I don't think anything touches really what we have at Sotheby's International Realty. And I hear it directly from clients all the time. Yeah. I don't have to lead the witness.
Yeah.
They'll say, I wanted a Sotheby's agent. And I heard it this last week from a client. Like, we're just looking for, we wanted the best. We know Sotheby's is the best. They're everywhere we want to be. So lots of people try to do that. And I totally appreciate the effort into building a brand, but being associated. It was just genius for my uncle and dad and all that back in the day. They knew ahead of time aligning with a brand like that made a difference, and it has ever since.
Agents, lean into the brand, right? I mean, how many times do we hear, yes, they get creative, they want to come up with their own thing, and yes, they should have a logo and their own style of how they do business, but lean into the blue sign, the brand. Kuper Sotheby's Sotheby's International is worldwide. So
Worldwide.
all of the people moving from opposite coasts, they know the blue sign.
Yep.
We get calls all the time saying, I want the blue sign in my yard.
Yep.
So that leads me to, we have the best agents,
Yes.
which I am so proud to get to work alongside every day.
Same.
But I know that puts a different kind of pressure on us as well, right? Because we have the best, but also they are competing against each other, and they both have the blue sign. So how do you handle that?
It's interesting. I like to think that one of the things we've been really intentional about is not having the most agents.
Yeah.
Right. So in both San Antonio, Austin, New Braunfels, Bernie, Port Aransas, Rockport, you name it, we've intentionally not hired anybody and everybody. We tend to try to be very selective.
For sure.
And one of the ways that we're selective is in micro markets. Like if we have the best agent in whatever one area, we try not to go like over recruit in that particular area.
Yeah.
So I think that's strategy number one. It's not that there's not overlap. There certainly is. We have the best of the best that are going to overlap.
We do.
And we frequently have multiple agents on the same listing presentation, which can be a challenge. But I think that's first and foremost, we don't overstack the deck.
Yeah.
We want people to kind of have their own territory as much as we can. I think the second is, I will frequently get called by the client to be in on listing presentations with both of our agents being in on the presentation.
You do that multiple times. You handled that very well.
Well, it can be super uncomfortable, but what I try to always lay out is I say, look, I'm going to give you the value proposition of the brokerage and what we're going to do and how we're going to support our agent. I don't list and sell. I'm here to support our advisors, our agents, our associates. That's what my whole job is. So I think that works well for most clients who are just used to an independent contractor, an agent going in by themselves, who probably doesn't have a bunch of support system.
Yeah.
They maybe can kind of speak to what feels like a support system, but is just not truly like what we have.
For sure.
They don't have Kelly, or they don't have Jay. They don't have our marketing department and our administrative team. So I like to go in and represent our team and say, this is what I do. And I'm going to do that for both agents here. And then I always recommend to them, like, you need to ask a lot of questions. You need to find out who fits with the strategy you want to take and the personality that you're going to feel comfortable with. We're going to be highly communicative with you. And then I just try to make sure I prop both of them up, and then it's theirs to sort of win or not. And that doesn't still make it super painless. Like there can be some frustrations there, but I think most of our agents here respect that.
For sure.
And there's just no favoritism, obviously, that I'm going to play with one agent or another, regardless of even how much they sell or don't sell with us. We have high-performing agents. One of my favorite statistics is how high our average agent production is.
Yeah,
that's really of all the statistics or metrics, that's really what I want the most. Is we don't have to have the most volume or the most agents or the most almost anything. It's average transaction price. I want that to be really high, and average agent productivity to be very high. To prove that we can deliver that for our agents and be the support system they need us to be. So anyway, I try not to play favorites, or I don't play favorites in any of those, and I just really lay out what we can do as a brand and as a company, and then it's the agents to kind of win that.
I'm glad you shared that, because a lot of people don't know that, everybody has these ideas of, you and kind of how you support, and do you support some, and, I see it all the time. So you do a really good job at that. I mean, you show up at listing presentations.
Yes.
I don't know many other brokers that are doing that, and you really support our agents in that way.
Yeah, I love going on listing presentations. I get so much of an ego on that. I don't lose them very often. We've lost a few. I've lost a few. I said, I've lost a few.
No.
I always blame it on some other outside factor. Somebody's cousin was like competing with me, but I like going in on those. But I'm glad you kind of teed that up that way, because I think there is like a misconception, like who does Jay spend his time with or not spend his time with? And this is another like self-admission that's not necessarily overly positive, but it's the truth. I'm not a great time manager. I spend a lot of time on the future of our company and the vision for our company. But at the same time, when it comes to working with our agents, I'm very reactionary. And that's to a fault in a lot of areas. But the agents that get supported by me are the agents that ask for support.
Yeah,
period.
That's very true.
So if anyone's ever looking for me to reach out to them for the day to see how I can support them, they will be
you're on the phone
disappointed.
nonstop. I mean, it's not that you don't want to. It's just, how can you fit that in?
Well, I think of 15 minutes to this podcast with you, and there's an agent who said, Jay, I'm at the car dealership. I really, really need to talk to you. Can I call you back? And she was calling me as I walked right in here. I couldn't answer, but I will call her back right after. But it's really like, are you going to call and ask. And that's not an ego thing. Like I'm not calling for any particular reason.
Yeah.
But I would say my schedule is jam-packed.
It is.
Until most of the time the late evening. And so I'm just going to get to what is in front of me.
Yes.
And I don't think people have to battle too hard to get in front of me in that way, but they also can't be nervous or afraid to call and ask for help or text or whatever. And I love giving that help. Like I'm a people pleaser or whatever. I want to jump in and help. So I'm there for that. But that's what it really takes. And so if people are willing to reach out and do, I'm there for them. And, there's always an exception to that rule. I failed multiple times, I'm sure, and not showing up where I needed to. But I promise I was helping somebody else at the time.
It's not for effort. I mean, you are always going. You're always there. You
I'm
always
trying.
show up.
Yeah, I try. Yes.
Okay. So then at the end of the day, I don't know how you do it. You're exhausted. You go home. You have 4 kids.
4 kids. 4 beautiful kids.
And a pig. Still the
and
pig?
a pig. Jules the pig is alive and well. Yeah. For what reason and what purpose, nobody knows. Because she only likes me. She bites everybody else. Well, I feed her. Now the kids have started to feed her, but she just hangs out. She actually I have a little home office and she's like hangs out right outside the home office. Yeah. And she talks to me, but she just wants food.
Can we hear what that
She's
sounds
food.
like?
Yeah, she's very food motivated, that pig. And pigs just like to eat. That's all she wants.
What do pigs eat?
Everything.
They do?
Yeah, they do. They eat everything.
Okay.
So, I'm like, look, we're not wasting any food. Jules needs this food. So she gets every bit of the table scrape. It's very Charlotte's Web. I mean, there's lots going on there. Yeah, a lot of pig slop. You just put it out there. But, here's actually the truth of Jules, too. She gets organic mini pig food. Look it up on the internet.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Mini pig food.
Organic.
Okay.
We're not going to eat Jules. I don't know why we've got organic food for her. But it's maybe so she'll live forever. I don't know. And hopefully she does. But yeah,
how long do pigs live?
I purposely tried not to know.
Okay.
Because we have 3 dogs as well.
Uh-huh.
And once I started learning how long they live, it really brings me down.
I know.
I'm like, how long is this going to go? 25 years? These little dogs, they live forever. I don't know. They're there for the long haul.
Yeah.
Much longer than I think my kids are going to be at my house. So.
I know they are growing up fast. Okay. So what is like some downtime? Because I know that you are, very active from the second you wake up in the morning. So, but what do you do to kind of recharge? How do you take care of all the agents and us, the staff?
Well, I think, I would say, not to sound too much like a martyr, I don't think I have a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
And I think it's classic. You think you want a thing.
Yeah.
Like I just need a lot of downtime. And then if I get some, I don't really need it. Like I think I just need like 15 minutes just to breathe.
Yeah.
And so the things the time I take for myself tends to be like working out, running, health and fitness sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
I think one time I tried to say that I didn't have any hobbies, and I had multiple friends say like, you work out every day for an hour, you run a lot. That seems like a hobby and a thing. I'm like, well, no, I'm sweating. It's hard. But like, I think I like hard things. I like to challenge myself.
You do.
And so I don't think I do super well just being on the beach. But that's not completely true. I can totally veg out with the best of them. And one day, I'm sure I will be a complete vegetable and not do anything and hang out on the couch for a long time. But right now, that's not it. I feel like I've just got a lot of opportunity. I don't know if this will resonate, but I remember being much younger and how hard I felt like I had to work to get opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, gosh, I've got like just hours and days and years and whichever. So now opportunity comes quite a bit easier.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I need to capture every opportunity. I got to seize every one. And that's not true either. Like you have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
And that's hard for me. But anyway, I don't think I have a lot of downtime, but I also feel like I get charged up by a lot of the stuff that I do. There are days for sure that I get home at the end of the day or I'm done for the day and I'm like, I cannot speak English anymore today or any other language, but I just need to stop talking and just be quiet. Probably, if anything, the real answer really is probably going to bed early. If I could go to bed at 9:30 every night, I would.
Oh,
yeah, I think I used to be a night owl. Now I'm not. I just want to go to bed. But I wake up early and try to get as much done as I possibly can.
You go for it.
Yeah.
Well, you do some interesting hobbies. I remember when I very first came on the team, you were everyone's like, get out your map. We're going to track Jay. He's going to go on some rafting trip and we're going to map him through Texas. And I thought, wow, that's so cool. I did not think that you would be up all night, that you would be, okay, Tell us what happened, because I'm going to ruin the whole story. It is wild.
It is wild. So it's an event called the Texas Water Safari. One of my best friends in the world, James Lowe, said, Jay, you're going to do this with me. And I'm like, and actually he sort of was trying to getting me into it for years.
Okay.
But this is the sales pitch. It is kind of like what you're saying. All right, Jay, we're going to row from San Marcos to the Texas coast, 260 miles. Mm-hmm. It's going to be multiple days, and we're not going to sleep, and we're not going to stop. And you're just going to row. You're going to paddle nonstop for multiple days until we're finished, and you're going to want to die, and you're going to hallucinate.
And so when he's telling you this, you're like, yes, I can't wait. This
sounds
is
so good.
Who says that?
Who says that? No one says that. But I do like a challenge. I like a challenge for myself. He's a great friend, and so I'm like, well, if I'm going to spend this much time in a horrible activity with anybody, James would be it. He's awesome. And so I said, let's do it. And I am also a sucker for something that's unique, which actually I think plays well into this career I've chosen. We do a lot of marketing of unique things and properties that are harder to sell sometimes or take creativity. Yeah. That plays into this too. It's like, nobody does this. Like the people that do the Texas Water Safari are limited. As a matter of fact, there's very little information about it. If you finish, which very few people do, you get a patch, and that's it, and a high five.
And a high five,
yeah,
even though you just almost died. So I thought,
it was like,
oh, this is such a great idea. You know, when you're in the nights, maybe you both just like kind of snuggle up and just let the tide take you down. Well, I'm watching you on the map, and then it just stops. What happened?
So this James is going to hate that I'm talking about this on this podcast, but we were going, and part of what you have to do is pick the boat up out of the water sometimes and go around like a dam. Like you can't go over the dam, you go around it. In the particular year, this was...
Do you know they're coming up? Like it's dark.
Yes, you know it's coming up, and you spend a lot of time practicing. Like you spend a lot of time on the route and like where it is. Because I'm with you. Like before I did this, I'm like, a river's a river. It just goes one way. It only flows one way.
Seems like it could be kind of relaxing it a few times.
That's not how a river is. And there's tributaries, and they branch off. And to actually get yourself down to the bottom, you have to really plan a lot for it.
Okay.
But part of it is like picking the boat up, taking it out of the water. Well, our boat had a leak. Water's coming in. We're like bailing water out all the time. We had some supplies.
I was gonna say, do you have like a patch kit?
You got it. Yes.
Okay.
The patch kit is you take the boat out of the water, you put grain alcohol in it, you catch it on fire, the boat on fire in it.
What?
Yes, it's crazy. But it's super, super cool, and you patch the boat and you keep going.
Okay.
But I think
and can you see your competitors? Are they like they're going by as your
Kelly,
boat's on fire and you're trying to patch it and you're getting nervous?
Kelly, we didn't see our competitors because we were so far ahead. It's not totally true.
Okay.
We saw people going by. But when we stopped, essentially my partner had like really hurt his back. He had like torn a muscle in his back.
From rowing.
And probably from lifting. We just don't really know. It wasn't like some moment, but it got to the point where like we just could not continue. Like he was getting sick from doing it. And the conditions are the most miserable conditions. So not only are you kind of going for multiple days on end without sleeping, but it's the summer. It's June in Texas.
Ooh.
You know, it was 104 degrees outside.
You have
and then
mosquitoes all over, bites all over you.
The water's warm, you know, like you think, oh, it's this cool river because we started in San Marcos. The water in San Marcos, beautiful. The water in Gonzales, not beautiful. It's gross and warm. And so it's just kind of, but that's that way on purpose. It's like, it's a real challenge. So anyway, it was very sad. We didn't finish. But we kind of vowed to get back in and do it again. James has actually finished it multiple times. He's a
really?
stud. He's awesome.
So you would do this again?
I have to. There's no choice. I have to get to the bottom.
This. Yeah. You need the patch and the high five.
I need the patch and the high five.
Okay.
Yeah. I need it all. Yeah.
Well, I remember when I very first had met you and heard this story, and I just thought, who is this guy? Yeah. Like, is our broker going to survive to keep the brokerage running?
I do think what we do can be this full contact sport too, right? Like it can be all encompassing. Sure. Kind of like what you've said, like, well, Jay, you answer the phone 24 hours, or not, you didn't say it that way, but I'll be super engaged all the time. And so maybe that's not my answer to the downtime. It's just, I need a little juxtaposition.
Yeah,
like I need something different. Yeah. And it can be an all-in kind of thing like this boat race was, but I like the challenge of it, you know, and doing something that, like, you don't think you can do that. This will be my last on this water safari. But when you sit there at the beginning and you're in this boat, I'll never forget it. Like, you're sitting there around all these other people about to start, and you think, I'm going to perpetually paddle a boat for 3 days. It's very like scary. I'm like, is this even possible?
Yeah,
even though
true.
I've trained and done. And so even though we didn't finish, like I remember going through the first full night, I'm like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped for
Yeah.
24 hours
Like,
of
and I have 2
rowing.
more days.
I haven't done anything for 24 hours straight in my whole, I mean, what would you do 24 hours
True.
straight? Like you would at least take a nap or take a seat or do
Yeah.
whatever, even if you stayed awake. But that physical effort, the same physical
yeah.
effort for that long.
That's
so
a lot.
it was great.
I mean, even Orange Theory, 10 minutes
Ooh.
of rowing. I don't know how you did
Not
it.
enough
It's
flat
impressive.
points. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, I know everybody in the audience is going to be curious.
Yeah.
You know, back to real estate.
Yes.
So our company was our mother company, Anywhere, was recently purchased. So,
Yes.
you know, I know that Sotheby's is such a strong brand, and CIH, is that what they're calling it?
Yes.
Compass International Holdings.
Yes.
Really wanted our brand because of, you know, we are different compared to the other companies because we're luxury.
Correct.
But, and his whole fallout with Zillow. But how do you feel about it? I know it hasn't affected our day to day, but how do you feel like it's going to affect us in the long run?
Yeah, I think my first thought on it is that we have always operated in this environment of being our parent company owning multiple, call it competitive brands, you know, anywhere.
Corcoran,
Coldwell Banker, ERA, Century 21, all those. So I've already lived in the world, and this is something that I feel like I'm involved in all the time and not necessarily the rest of our company has to be involved in per se. Like day to day, we are Kuper, Sotheby's International Realty and doing that.
Yeah.
To me, in so many ways, I feel like that's just more of the same. So you're looking at a very visionary company in Compass in a lot of ways. I've always admired Robert and how hard they charge and what they do. But at the end of the day, they've been clear, he's been clear. Like, okay, well, we've got all these wonderful brands and companies. And that was, again, like how Anywhere always pitched it too. And that was true.
Yeah.
Like, I don't overlap with our Coldwell Banker colleagues, you know, that are in Austin and San Antonio all that much. We actually have a great relationship, but we just run our own companies and it's not part of the same day to day. So that's my overarching thought.
Yeah.
And then like, I like to dream or see how the positives could be. And there's plenty of positives. Like if you have a great, call it franchisor or parent company or however you want to look at it, and they're visionary and they've got a lot of resource and they've got a lot of talent, which they do there. I see that just being a win for our company. Yeah. So I don't waste a lot of time on the things you can't control. I've tried to make that a mantra. There's some things that I can't control and or thinking about the negative implications. I don't see a ton of them, candidly. But if they're there, if they're probably not a lot of things I can control. So to me, it's, do we have the world's greatest brand? Yes. Were we sought after and acquired, if you want to think of it that way, because of that reason?
For sure.
Yes. Has there been loads of indication that keeping it separate makes a lot of sense from everything else? Yes. So let's just do business as usual and keep moving and see what positives we get out of it. And you know, it's been, to your point, very short amount of time since all those announcements, but you know, I've had great dialogue, and all of our colleagues, other Sotheby's International Realty owners seem to be very positive. Like I'm on some call every week with lots of them, and it seems like it's all working pretty well. So we'll see what the future is, but.
And your franchise agreement is already set. So, you know, it's not like there's going to be some huge change, you know, without changing your agreements that are already in place.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like, that's the bottom of so many things, not just with our company, but I always laugh. I feel like it's something you hear on the TV. Each office is independently owned and operated, but we are, where it says at the bottom of our,
we have to put that on everything.
Yeah. We are independently owned and operated. And so I think we get the best of a lot of worlds. We get the best of this global brand that works for us and does all these things on our behalf, but we also call our own shots and do what we want to do here.
Yeah.
I think Sotheby's International Realty, as a general rule, is the most consistent across the board.
For sure.
When it comes to something like this. I can go to an office in Carmel or downtown Austin or whichever, and you're going to, I think, have the same sort of experience in general. But we'll just continue to do that. Like it's still a very tight-knit group globally with Sotheby's International Realty. I actually say that a lot on our listing presentations.
Yeah.
I can pick up the phone, my cell phone right now, and I could call almost any broker owner globally. And people have called me on that.
That's
like,
awesome.
okay, well, call.
Call Jamaica.
Yes, and I've called all over. I actually had one for Cayman Islands. I love their team. And the Bahamas, somebody said, do you know the people of the Bahamas? Yes, I do.
Yeah,
I'll
you
call
have
right
done a very
now.
good job staying in touch with all
Yeah,
brokers.
and so, but that's real power in what we do.
Yeah.
Like, and we've had inbound business and outbound business because of that. And I think it's a true service to our client.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
We're not just sending them off to somebody we don't know, or when we receive other people's clients, we care for them like ours, and we deliver for them. And that's I think that's a stark contrast to the industry in general, not picking on it too terribly much, but I think putting the client's best interest first is what we have to do. And I think sometimes the industry has lost sight of that, but we don't lose sight of that here. Like, that's just always been paramount for us.
For sure. That's why our network is so good. Whenever an agent wants to come and join our team, they're like, what's different about your network? And it is hard to explain because I know Keller Williams, or, I'm just using them as an example, but many of the other companies have offices in other areas and they get referrals, but it's nothing like ours. And it's really hard to explain in those situations that you have to be a part of the family. But I think that because of the caliber of agent, when you're sending that referral to the Bahamas or wherever, we know that the caliber of agent on the other side is going to take very good care of our client. So those referrals are so easily passed. And I'm so proud of it.
So this has been like a near-term revelation for me, but I want to like speak to that. So I've had that same thing, like, what's different? And I've never thought about it the way I'm about to tell you until recently. And I think what I'd normally want to say is the selection criteria to be a Sotheby's International Realty agent is so high. And I think that's true. But what's also super interesting is I think agents will self-select out of this brand if it doesn't resonate for them and they can't work towards that brand.
Yeah.
And I'll say that as both a positive and a negative.
Yeah.
I think some agents, I'll start with negative. From a negative is like, I don't need that brand. I don't need those resources. I'm incredible on my own. Well, I mean, maybe, but probably not.
Yeah.
Like, the agent that would say that is probably not
fit.
capable of doing and working here. A lot of times I refer to our company, our brand, as like the equivalent of driving a nice Ferrari.
Yeah.
Driving a Camry is easier than driving a nice Ferrari. Like, people don't know how to do that transmission and operate that vehicle.
Sure.
You've got to have some talent to do it. And so, from a negative, I think some agents just like, I just don't need to do that. But that plays into like what makes us great. Like, if an agent would self-select out of this high level of quality, you can count on them being really good in every market, because I think it really separates out
absolutely
the quality and capability of an agent. Like, if you don't think what this is the best of the best, I don't know. Now I'm probably sounding a little snobby, but I think it makes such a big difference because you're missing really what's important probably to the consumer, not to beat up on the brand too terribly much, but like, these things make a difference in having a high quality, successful outcome for the client, both a buyer and a seller.
Yeah.
And I've some of my favorite agents are the ones that end up recognizing this and are willing to share. Like, Jay, one of my favorites was recently, one of our agents in our Bernie office, she said, Jay, I'm able to take an offer that has multiple offer situation, because we've had some of those more recently, which has been great. And she's like, the listing agent doesn't know me, but she knows our company. She knows Sotheby's International Realty, and conveyed that value. This is a broker or an agent that doesn't work with us on the list side, just the buy. But this agent, who's a competitor, took to her client and said, oh, well, they work for Kuper, Sotheby's International Realty. This is a valuable offer.
Yeah.
So on paper, it's like, well, it's $1 million here and $1 million there, but coming from this agent is different. That is huge. That's better representation for the client.
Yep.
And anyway, I could go on for days, but that's a big deal. Circling back to the network, I feel like you've got this like-minded group of people that put value where value should be placed.
Absolutely.
It's not value in, I'm so overindulgent on like my personal brand or how I look there. I'm going to embrace what's best for the client.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And the details and just, the higher level of service, that client is going to get.
Yeah. But I've really started to kind of really think more and more about that, like, because people, it just doesn't work for every agent. And I get that. And I'm not saying if you don't work here, you're not great. That's not it either. But I can count on the agent that has bought into this, if you want to call it that, and leaned into it, like you said. like I can count on that being true in every market.
Yeah.
Because it's not for the faint of heart. There's a higher expectation.
For sure.
There's no like part-timing it if you're a Sotheby's International Realty agent.
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible, actually.
No.
Like you can't part-time it. You've got to be fully engaged. And that can be hard.
Yeah.
That's been a challenge for me, candidly, even within our own firm.
Yeah.
It is harder to be here at this company if you are not full-time committed to it.
Absolutely.
And that can be a challenge because we've had people that have been here for decades.
Yeah.
But if you're not engaged in the business full-time every day, again, it's like this self-selecting thing.
For sure.
Like nobody's ever trying to make that person not be here, but there's an expectation.
You can just tell the success and the challenges they have when they're not in it.
That's right. Yeah, it becomes too much of a challenge, or you're not delivering to the expectation that not just that we have, but like the brand sets.
True.
Whether it's verbalized or not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, lastly, and we're
I thought this was a 2-hour podcast. I thought we were trying to compete with Joe. What's the deal?
We can't.
Okay.
There's so much I could talk to you about.
Okay.
But G&E, you know, so because of our network, a lot of that does kind of filter to our G&E events, our global networking events. With Sotheby's this year will be in San Francisco. And so how do you, a lot of the agents either jump in, we'll see two different personalities. They dive in, they know what to do and how to network, and they don't shy away from it. Then we have those other agents that are like, it's so big and they're nervous and they want to do it, but they're not quite sure how to tackle it. So, for each of those agents, it's kind of a different plan and agenda, but how would you speak to both to really make that a successful event?
Yeah, it's definitely like an extrovert's playground. Let me just go absorb all this energy. And we have plenty of agents that are that way. And you've said it perfectly. There's plenty of people like, I just can't do this.
Yeah.
So first, let me say this. I've definitely learned that to be really good at this business, it does not matter if you're introverted or extroverted, right? So it really is way more about the details that you put into the business and how well you care for the client. And you can be hyper introverted and be the best of the best at this craft.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I used to just think, this is an extrovert's business. It's just not true. It just has nothing to do with it almost. But for a networking event, we all sort of work in tribes and you kind of gravitate to your people.
Yeah, so true.
And all your people, your person, whether you're introverted or extroverted, to say it that way, attend the G&E.
Yeah.
And I think the trick is going and finding your people. And to do that, you just have to be more premeditated.
For sure.
So if you're an extrovert, you probably have a leg up because you could just show up and
you're like, I'll find my people.
They're loud. They're loud, and we're just going to be up all night and talking about real estate.
Yeah.
But if you're introverted, and that's I'm overly generalizing, but I think you should really try to way ahead of time. Find your people and
use the app.
Yeah, use the app. Sotheby's International Realty makes it super easy with the app, right? You see who's attending early.
Yeah.
So rule number 1 actually is register early.
Yes.
Do not wait till the end. And this one will sell out. I think it's a limited ticket sales because the venue is so awesome where they're doing this that they just couldn't have as many people. So I think this will be a year where it's sold out and there'll be some angst because of that. But get in there early and then start getting in the app early and seeing who's going to attend. And I know that might seem daunting, but why not look through, narrow the focus or the view of agents to the markets that we feed or feed us?
Yeah.
I think those are obvious. I'm happy to go through that list, but everybody knows where all the business is coming to or coming from in Central and South Texas. And those people know that they're sending business to us and vice versa. Resort markets, like if we don't think that we have clients that are buying in Park City and all over Colorado and all over California and Hawaii and the Cayman Islands, we're missing it. Our clients are going there and they are there and they're buying property. So find your cohort there, narrow it down by the market, and then start looking at bios and see who you connect with.
Yeah.
I think I give Camille as an example all the time, but Camille Abbott in our Austin office is amazing. And she's an equestrian.
Yeah.
She has, cutting horses and she loves that.
Yeah.
Guess what Camille does when she goes to the G&E?
She finds her horse
She has a cowboy hat on and she has dinners with her horse people and they like share business back and forth. And she's been the recipient of amazing referral business.
Absolutely.
So in that, I think that's why we have one of the greatest businesses in the world. Like you can really lean into what you love to do in life and that's going to translate to your clients.
Absolutely.
Right? You end up kind of finding clients that like the same things you like if you're really good at this. And same thing with referral business and colleagues in the industry, or especially with Sotheby's International Realty. Like, just find them. They are at the G&E and build that network. And this is the other thing I'll say. I could talk about this for days too. You have to be willing to pour into those people in the same way you would as a client.
That's so true.
So if you're not willing to follow up and continue the relationship, it's not just pure business like, oh, I got to send this note.
Yeah.
You want to get to know, make the connection.
Yeah.
Some of my best friends have become agents and brokers within this brand, period. I've been to weddings and all kinds of things of my friends here.
You even vacation with some of them.
Vacations and trips and all kinds of cool, dangerous things with these people. But because they become friends. This is what we've committed our life's work is in this industry, in this profession. So like, why not lean into it? So yes, it can be overwhelming. As extroverted as I am, I could still find a random room here in Austin or whatever, and walk in and be a little intimidated because I don't know anybody. It's hard when everybody's all grouped up, clicked up, however you want to call it. But I promise you, especially with where we are, there's so much inbound traffic from people moving here that there is an agent dying to meet you from Bay Area because they've got clients moving here for work and they want to know you. I think if you know that in your brain, hey, there's somebody in this room that really wants to get to know me because they've got business to send. That's what you should have in your mind. Whether it doesn't matter your personality type, if you're intimidated by a lot, know that there's somebody there who wants to do that. And for bonus points, reach out before the G&E. Not a weekend before, not a couple days before.
People are booked way in advance.
People are booked, but if you can reach out a month in advance, I'm going to be in San Francisco. I'd love to meet you. It says you like whatever, canoe racing, and I love to canoe race. I don't really love it all day long, but you know what I mean?
He's going to get all the calls.
I'm going to get all the calls. You're the only canoe racing person, apparently. But, find people you have some connection with and reach out ahead of time. And
it's
start
authentic.
It's authentic.
When it's something that you really like and care about, passionate about, and then you can connect with that person on a real level.
I'll end this whole spiel on this one. I started trying to run. My challenge this last year for the last couple of years really has been like, I'm going to run, even though I said I hated running. I didn't want to do it.
He's making us all run.
I'm making everyone run all the time.
Kuper Run Club, which is very branded and cute. Very branded and cute. Thank goodness it's in San Antonio, so I don't have to do it. Otherwise, you're like, Kelly, where are you?
No, you're going to do it. It'll be good. But I used to be more on the late night crowd. I'm like, I'm going to socialize till the late hours of the night. And now I'm not. I'm early in bed, and there's a whole group of people that want to wake
morning
up
people that want to hang out
5 a.m. and are energized. We did a deal. What was that one in California? I think for an event, and I said, if anybody wants to run, I'm going to be running at whatever it was, 6 a.m. Not only did it, I think we had like 25 or 30 people show up to run at 6 a.m.
Wow.
But I promise you, half of those people had already worked out or done something. My point is, your people are there, right? Like, and so just lean into that, and you'll have a really successful engagement, especially if you will do the follow-up, if you'll do the work to build a relationship. Sure. And that's probably true in life in general, right? If you're waiting for somebody else to build a relationship with you, it's just never really going to work. You've got to take the initiative, as intimidating as that can be, but the reward is there. It's hard to miss that the reward is right in front of your face.
And we've been several years, but if they could just rip the Band-Aid, do the first time, the person that's shy and intimidated by it, do it that first year, because then those same connections go every single year. And so each year gets easier because you're just reconnecting and solidifying those relationships.
Well, I won't name this name out loud, but there's a wonderful agent with our firm who swore to me that she would never, and I mean never, go to one of those networking events. Like, was just not her speed.
Okay.
And that particular agent, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb, but I would say has received in the last, let's say 5 years, $100 million worth of referral business from within the network.
Wow.
I would actually say easily to that, because she made those connections and doesn't just go to the G&E. She has networking groups that she's participating in, has made great friends and relationships within the brand. And they count on her and trust on her to receive their client referrals. So if you'll do that, the reward is there. I really have never, if people are willing to do what we're just talking about, I have not heard of somebody say, I did all this work and I went to try to meet all these people and I called them ahead of time and I tried to find them. I couldn't find them.
Yeah.
It was a waste of my time.
So true.
I've never genuinely ever heard that.
Yep.
And I'm always on the lookout for that kind of feedback,
Yeah.
and I've never heard it.
Nope.
It's like, no, it's worth it. I learned a lot from the conference, but I really got a lot from these relationships.
And many times they walk away with the referral, a good connection that ends up in a referral that same year.
Same year, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, there's normally pretty quick turnaround to the results being there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am excited for San Francisco this
Me
year.
too. It's going to be really great.
Yeah. Thank you for spending time with me.
Yay.
And
I love
appreciate
this
it.
podcast.
Yay.
Thanks, Kelly.